Good morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agarwal. The top headlines of this hour. It's a positive start to the expiry week, and the Nifty trades above its 100 DMA, above the 10,400 mark as volatility cools down for the third straight day. And stocks like Mindtree and Hexaware are among the top F&O gainers as they report a surge in open interest. And Federal Bank gains the most since October last year after it gets a board approval to buy 26% stake in Equirus Capital. And Jubilant Life Sciences is the top loser on the BSE 500 index after 51.2 lakh shares change hand in a block deal.
All right, let's take a look as to what's happening with the markets on day one of the March series, where February series was one of the worst series that we saw since October 2008. Some bit of respite on day one of March series. So Nifty is firmly trading around the 100-day moving average above the 10,400 mark right now. Let's just pull up the futures and check what the premium is, because remember, in the last 2 to 3 sessions, we also saw the premium for the March futures falling. So no major expansion actually seen for the premium, which tells you no major long positions are being taken at these levels. Pull up Bank Nifty, which was the underperformer for the February series. Some bit of rebound, and 25,100 is the level where Bank Nifty futures are trading. And also a rebound has been seen for the Nifty PSU banking index, which fell nearly 16% for Feb series. I think the Nifty PSU bank is trading around gains of 1%, but not to forget, all the sectoral indices today are trading in green, and hogging the limelight is the pharma space. The Nifty pharma space after a while has seen gains of nearly over 2%. But good news is that the VIX, that has been correcting in the last 3 sessions. Now India VIX is down nearly 15 to 16%, and it's always a positive sign that on day one you see India VIX going down 5% lower. 14 is the mark. Remember, 12.5 is a crucial level which most of the derivatives analysts usually watch out for. In terms of options data, what's the sort of range that one is looking out for March series? It's quite wide, because if you look at the OI concentration, it is at the 11,000 call and the 10,000 put. But in terms of what's happening in today's session, the most active strikes are the 10,500 call strike, which has seen some bit of OI addition, and the 10,300 put, and also the 10,400 put has seen some bit of open interest addition. On the Bank Nifty side, the most active strikes there on your screen, 24,500 put and the 25,500 call. How are the FIs positioned on day one, or rather the start of the new series? Remember, they were on the right side of the trade throughout the February series. So if you look at the index futures, they've started this series with being 49% long on the index futures and 51% short, which is telling you they're net short at the start of the series. Now, if you compare this data to how they started the February series, they were 80% net long on the index futures. So the bias is definitely on the short side when you look at the index futures positioning. And so is the case for the option side, where they've bought more of puts for the series to start off with, and they've also written more of calls, Agam.
Well, this is going to be a very, very long series, Navneet, considering the February one was extremely short. So it's going to be an interesting one. But that said, we'll keep an eye on some of those variables. But when it comes to stocks, it's once again, we're looking at a lot of traction in the information technology companies, and a lot of mid-cap ones. So there you have it. 5 out of the top, or rather 3 out of the top 5, counters which are looking at a substantial surge in open interest is from the mid-cap IT space, and that includes Hexaware and Mindtree, both of them looking at fresh longs, and NIT Tech, well, marginally in the red, but we are looking at near 11% increase in OI. That's followed by Siemens and Biocon, and Biocon once again looking at a little bit of a reversal after the weakness that we saw yesterday towards fresh longs as well. Now, because this is the beginning of the series, it's unlikely we'd see a lot of unwinding, but let's pull that list up too among the stocks that we are looking at a decline in open interest. And as I said, Mahanagar Gas, Ramco Cements, ACR Technologies, MRF, Balakrishna Industries, all of them looking at less than 1% decline in open interest. And nothing really stands out there either. But once again, I would keep an eye on the mid-cap IT stocks because they are gaining. And, Navneet, what is really, really interesting is that they're also catching up with the valuations of the larger IT companies.
And finally, we've seen some move coming back into the
Right.
IT as well as the pharma space. Okay, let's get going. Before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, please do call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us, in fact, on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, with AskPQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts for the day then. Navneet Daga, Head of Derivatives at IIFL Wealth, and Aditya Agarwal of Way2 Wealth Securities are joining us. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen, and appreciate you joining us today on Bloomberg Quint. Aditya, let me come to you first. How are you positioned, or rather, what would you suggest in terms of day one of the new series? How should one position themselves? There's been a mild pullback that we've seen for both the benchmark indices, Nifty and Bank Nifty.
Good morning. Well, from these levels, we are expecting a minor pullback in Nifty of 150 to 200 points. But yes, overall structure for market is still looking weak. 10,300, 10,250 remains a very crucial support levels. And for the last series, if we see in February series, 2 or 3 times Nifty tried to break that levels. But from those levels, we are seeing some short covering. Bank Nifty also then 24,700, 24,800 is the support zone for Bank Nifty, and from those levels we have seen a pullback. So we are expecting that this we will see some short covering in next 1 or 2 weeks, and the Nifty can on higher side can test 10,580, 10,600 levels. But for the short term, this market has become now sell on rally. So if Nifty comes in that zone, that is a good time to go short. But at current levels, we are not advising our clients to go short. Short-term traders can go long in Nifty at current levels with a target of 10,580, 10,600, and keeping a stop loss of 10,340 Nifty spot.
Sell, but on rallies. That's the word coming in from Aditya Agarwal. Navneet, good morning to you. How are you viewing trade on the Nifty? Are you also as cautious?
Yeah, hi, Agam. Good morning. Look, the data point suggests that we have to be a bit cautious looking at the kind of rolls that we're getting. If I look at the FI rolls figures, the net long futures positioning rolls have been almost at a 6-month low from the FI side. So the overall, we might see a tactical bounce because of being an oversold ground, and we have been able to hold on to that 10,300 mark for the last couple of days now. So there is a tactical bounce out there, but it would be from a short-term trader who can play out this bounce on the higher side and then again go back into the market whereby one get a good shorting opportunity. It's good for them, or either from a person who is looking from a bit longer perspective, one should look to sell the rallies on the higher side. And in fact, we have a similar view of 10,600 seems to be impending resistance point now. And until that level has been crossed convincingly, we might likely to face on the higher side every rise as a selling opportunity.
Okay, so use every pullback to go short on Nifty is what Navneet is suggesting. But what sort of option strategies can one look at on day one of the March series? Let's shift our focus to the options corner now. Navneet has a short strangle strategy in Bank Nifty, but before we get to that, let us tell you what a short strangle actually means. A short strangle is when one sells an out-of-the-money call and an out-of-the-money put in anticipation of decrease in volatility, which has actually taken place today. The strategy becomes profitable when the volatility decreases, followed by contraction in option premium. Navneet, I'll come back to you for your option strategy in Bank Nifty. So basically what you're suggesting, you're expecting Bank Nifty to stay in that range of 25,500 to about 24,700 on the downside.
Look, the tactical viewpoint is that basically we are expecting some kind of a consolidation and moderation in the index heavyweight. So as in a very incremental low rollovers happening on the likes of ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. So those two are the most heavyweight in the Bank Nifty index, and those two are standing in the near the support zone on the charts. So if they start to consolidate, you're likely to see the range bound action in the Bank Nifty as well. So I'm selling in 24,700 put options on the lower side for the current week, that is for 1st of March, and simultaneously on the higher side 25,500 call options. The combined premium would be in the range of 120 to 125 points, and I'll keep a strict stop loss at a target range of 180 points. If the spreads widen towards 180, I'll exit this trade, and I'll play for a target of almost 20 to almost 0 points in the strategy for the next week or so.
Okay, so that's a short strangle for Navneet. Aditya, you have mentioned that you will go long on the Nifty above the mark of 10,430. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And you also said that the target is around 10,580 with a stop loss around 10,340. But if I were to ask you to play options, then how would you employ options with your perspective of the Nifty in mind?
Well, for the short term, I would like to go long in Nifty options also. Means one can buy 10,400 Nifty option at current levels, which is quoting around somewhere around 173, 174 levels. But yes, we will see some decrease in volatility in next coming trading session. So I won't be very bullish on the option strategy right now. So one can buy at current levels around 174, 175, target of 240, and the stop loss on lower side will be 130.
Okay, so go long in Nifty above the mark of 10,430 is what Aditya is advising. Well, let's also chat about the individual stock futures which are buzzing in today's session. I want to pull up the intraday chart of Jindal Steel and Power. That's seen substantial gains, and we'll also tell you how much of open interest addition so far has been seen when it comes to the March futures. Look at that. It's almost at day's high, 5% higher, 262 is the level. Let's now pull up the OI chart and see how much of an addition has been seen so far for the March series of Jindal Steel and Power. Well, 264 is where the March futures trade, and 7% higher when it comes to the OI. Navneet, I'll come back to you. Any trade on JSPL considering the kind of surge that we've seen just in the last 5 to 10 minutes?
Look, overall I'm quite bullish on the kind of metal stocks and the kind of setup that they are in. So they are very important support zone they are holding on to. Jindal Steel and Power is quite volatile one. I'm afraid to comment on that because it's looking like that it can be a bit choppy on the high side as well. So I'll go with Tata Steel as in trade on the metal counters.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on GSPL. The other pack that, as I mentioned earlier, is very active is the mid-cap IT space. And yet again, we're looking at tremendous strength in counters like Mindtree and Hexaware. Let's pull up Hexaware and see what it's doing right now, because that's one stock which has been on the ascent. And well, today it's not going up as much. It's still up a little less than 1%, but there's substantial increase in open interest. Aditya, if I may ask you about Hexaware Technologies, what do you see here? Is there more upside left right now? And if there is, what levels would you be watching out for Hexaware Technologies?
Well, definitely means upside is still there in Hexaware Technologies. Means if we see this counter, then sharp correction was seen from 390 levels to 330, 328 levels. And around those levels, stock has a crucial support zone. And again, from those levels, we have seen a good pullback. And last 3-4 days, we have seen significant amount of long position getting built up in Hexaware. And today itself, stock has added almost 18% shares. So overall structure is looking positive. With we are expecting that this stock can test 375, 378 levels in the next couple of trading days. So one can buy at current levels also with a stop loss of 340 and target of 375.
Okay, that's the view on Hexaware, but look at Mindtree. That's up nearly 4% as we speak. So good session for Mindtree. Remember, this is the stock which has been strong in the last few days as well. And OI up 16%. Navneet, would you take a fresh long here?
Yes, look, Mindtree has been quite resilient, and I find that even in terms of carnage, we have not seen any major unwinding happening in the stock. So I will still look to go long fresh at the current market price and look at stop loss on somewhere in the levels of 750 on the lower side, and aim for a high target of 810, the previous highs on Mindtree.
Okay, so that's the view on Mindtree, and I'm going to stay with the IT theme because we have a live query coming in. This one is from Bikash Pekare, and he's written to us on YouTube, and he has one lot of the Infosys 1180 call, and he's paid a premium of 20 for the March expiry, and he wants to know what's the view here. Can we pull up the Infosys futures first and see where the futures are trading at? It's at around 1161. That's the March futures. Now, if we can pull up the 1180 call and see what premium it's going at. Well, of course, Bikash has paid about 20. The premium currently stands at 18. So, Aditya, I'm going to come to you on this one. First, tell us what your view on Infosys is, and what should should Bikash do with his position right now? He's paid a premium of 20 rupees for the 1180 call. It's currently trading at a premium of 18 rupees.
Well, I think he should continue with his position. Means the stock has seen a good rally from the 1080 to 1160 levels, but overall structure for Infosys is still looking positive. I think it can test 1195 to 1200 levels in the next few trading sessions, and in that case, his position will be in profit. So he should continue with this position at current levels, and if the stock comes in the zone of 1195, 1200, then around those levels he should look to book profit in his Infosys 1180 call option.
Okay, Bikash, you can look to hold on to your options positioning that you've taken on Info 1180 strike. Our next query on YouTube comes from Shubham Gandhi. He's asking if it is recommended to buy Nifty 10,800 call, and that's a deep out of the money call strike, which is currently trading. The premium is somewhere about 24 to about 25 rupees. Aditya, I'll come back to you. Since you said you're going to go long on Nifty when it crosses the mark of 10,430, in terms of option positioning, would you advise somebody to buy the 10,800 strike? Call strike.
Well, we're expecting a pullback in Nifty, but only to the extent of 10,580, 10,640 levels. Yes, in that case, that 10,800 call option may see some pullback. It may come towards from 25 levels. It may go towards 40, 45 levels, but not beyond that. So if he's looking for 15, 20 rupees kind of upside, then yes, he can buy 10,800 call option. But I won't recommend him to stay for a much longer time. If in a week time this movement which you're expecting Nifty doesn't come, then I would liquidate this position and book the losses. As overall market outlook is not very bullish. This move we're expecting is a short covering move, not a sustained rally. So my recommendation is he can buy at current levels, but if it comes in the zone of 40, 42, he should look to book profit. Or if in a week time, if this kind of movement doesn't come, then also he should exit from the position.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on the benchmarks and well, the 10,800 call specifically. But moving on, on Twitter, we have a question coming in from Kamlesh Patel, and he wants to get an idea on BPCL for the outstanding series. That's the current series right now. So let's take a look at where BPCL is trading when it comes to its March futures. Currently standing at around 428 with a near increase of 6% in open interest. It's underlying down by about 0.3%. So marginally in the red. Navneet, what would you advise Kamlesh to do when it comes to BPCL now for the series?
Look, quite amazed to see that the entire OMC pack has been quite under pressure in the last couple of, in fact, the last series itself. So I would use any rally on the higher side to exit it because it's not showing any tremendous strength on the higher side. And in fact, on the higher side has developed a lot of resistance. So to my understanding, at the current market price of 428, I will look for somewhere in the range of 435 to 440. If we get it, you should look to use that pullback to exit the counter. It's not showing any major strength on the higher side.
Okay, that's the view on BPCL. Just one more query on YouTube comes from Vivek Ganamani. Vivek, sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your surname properly or not. He wants to know, can he buy Fortis call strike 160? Vivek, I just want to inform you that Fortis may, I'm re-emphasizing, it may get out of the F&O segment if the company doesn't come out with its Q2 or Q3 numbers by March 1st. So be very wary of taking any sort of F&O position in Fortis Healthcare. But I'll take your query to Aditya. Aditya, 160 call option, he's asking if he can take a position. And I'm just looking at the activity. Premium of 10 rupees and almost 3 lakh shares have been added so far. Would you advise him to take any position?
But if we see Fortis, then this stock is broadly in a range of 160, 162 on higher side, and lower side range is 120, 125. So as of now, stock is not giving any buy signal, and it is on the higher side of the resistance zone. So at current levels, I won't be making any long position, or I won't be recommending any long position in Fortis. Yes, if the stock sees some correction, comes in the zone of 135, 140, that is a good time to enter Fortis. But at current levels, risk-reward ratio is clearly not in favor of buyers. So I would like to avoid this call option, buying this call option at current levels.
Okay, so with that, we'll move across and take strategies where our experts are recommending in today's day of trade. And Navneet, I'll come back to you. You have one short and one long. Can you take us through your strategies?
Look, as we discussed, the metal stocks is the one whereby I believe that we might see a kind of a pullback. They are holding on to the support zone. It has corrected very sharply from the higher levels. Tata Steel is the one I like to go along on, but the stock price has moved in the meantime that we have talked. I would look for an entry price in the range of somewhere near to 650 and look for a higher side target of 680 on Tata Steel. I'll keep a strict stop loss on the lower side of 633 on March futures. If it violates that, I'll look to exit the trade. The second stock would be, I would be on the short side, would be the likes of UPL, United Phosphorus Limited. The stock was taking a support at 700 range and it has broken down below that range. And it's in an incremental short rollovers happening on in the next series, and so I'll look for any pullback on the stock to be creating a short positions. My initial target on the stock price would be somewhere in 660 range and keep a strict stop loss on the higher side of 705. If it violates, I'll look to exit immediately.
Okay, so those are the two trading strategies from Navneet. Aditya, I'll come to you. What are the individual stock futures that you're betting on?
Well, we are giving two buy recommendation. First recommendation will be buy call in Indiabulls Housing Finance. Indiabulls Housing Finance has had a very strong support in the zone of 1220, 1230 levels, and from those levels only we have seen a good pullback in last two trading sessions. So we're expecting this short covering rally may continue, and on higher side stock can test 1330, 1335 levels. So with a stop loss of 1245, one can buy Indiabulls Housing Finance on any dip with a target of 1330. Second buy call will be in Grasim. Grasim or this stock after steep trading in a range of 1060 to 1160, and again from lower level stock has seen a good pullback. So we are expecting this stock can also test 1170, 1175 levels in next couple of trading sessions, and can be bought at current levels or at any dip with a stop loss of 1095 and target of 1170, 1175.
Okay, so those are the views from Aditya. Well, we do have one query coming in from Facebook from Atul Kanzaria, and he wants to get an idea on the defense and energy sector. Well, Atul, rest assured, we will address this query in our SpeakQ at 12:30, so you will have to log on to that because this is the F&O show. In any case, I'd also like to thank our experts, Aditya as well as Navneet, for joining us and taking us through their views. But that is all that we have on this edition of the F&O show. Lots more lined up. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned in Global Quit.